but the microphone is still far away. There we go. We all good.
We all good now?
Yeah.
Okay, until the microphone flies some strange direction.
It'll go drastically to the right.
If you hear this strange, you'll know what happened. Anyhow.
It happened with BB.
Yeah, it did. It's been Alien Week. Don't know what happened, but it has been Alien Week.
Some shit's about to blow up, that's why.
Probably. And I
hope it's when I'm up at the cabin.
Oh, God.
I hope I see an alien up at the cabin. I just get zapped right up there.
That is not going to happen. No.
You don't know that? You don't know that? I'll be zapped right through the window and I'll be gone for like weeks.
That would be horrible. That would be horrible.
I'll be gone for like 2 hours.
Those of us that would be sitting there going, what the hell happened to him? Do you know the panic?
And then I will appear naked, lying down in fetal position in the front yard in that crop circle.
Oh, God. Yeah, we've got some kind of interesting crop circle thing in our front yard, and we don't know what happened.
It's a bullseye. It's a bullseye.
Yeah, you know it does, except the middle part is a little off center.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We got targeted.
Well, that wouldn't be the first time, though, would it? Anyhow, I had actually printed this off last month. And for whatever reason, it just kept getting pushed to the side and pushed to the side. And I thought, I'm going to use it finally. And this was actually someone who doesn't usually write for Mysterious Universe.
Oh, thank God it's someone new. Oh, thank God.
And this is Jazz Shaw.
Hi, we welcome you to the Mysterious Universe Lab.
You really. And this was May 16th of 2022. And the article is entitled The Lost Years of Skinwalker Ranch, 2008 to 2016.
What do you mean the lost years?
That's what he wrote about. I don't know.
Like nothing just happened?
We gonna find out. We gonna find out what happened here.
Okay.
So, the article will be in the description box. So you do that, and my mind is already like, it's not like it takes
it's
a lot.
It's podcast style. That's how it is.
Anyhow, he writes, by this point, everyone who has even had a passing interest in UFOs or paranormal phenomena in general is aware of the saga that's been playing out at Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. And he does have, there's some kind of intro to Skinwalker Ranch that you can go to the article and it must have a link or something. I don't know. In the 1990s, the ranch was purchased by billionaire entrepreneur Robert Bigelow after the previous owners, Terry Sherman and his wife, reported a succession of bizarre experiences and sightings. These range from UFOs to strange cryptids and apparitions. The inexplicable mutilation of livestock, not livestock, the camera's on the brain, don't I? Was regularly reported. As part of the conditions of the sale, the Shermans agreed to come back during the day and assist the team of scientists Bigelow was bringing in to attempt to engage in modern scientific study of the phenomena being observed. The new owner established Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies. Why do these people...
That's a mouthful.
Why do people name things?
SS.
It's BAS.
Bass.
And so...
It's a bass.
This was a subsidiary of Bigelow Aerospace and established the National Institute for Discovery Science.
Bass.
NIDSI.
Niddick.
To explore what was happening.
Nidsky. That's what it is. Nidsky.
Those studies continued on and off for roughly a decade, almost entirely in secret. To this day, little is known of the results of the studies by the public, and the data collected has not been released. By 2008, however... What was it?
I can't say that. The NID, the NID.
No, whatever it is, no.
Non-identified dick.
No, he said it. Oh, God. By 2000...
I had to say it.
This is why he's unmedicated, folks. Remember that. He's unmedicated. By 2008, however, the research had mostly been discontinued. That changed yet again after another billionaire, real estate magnate, Brandon Fugel, one or the other, purchased. Well, if he wasn't frugal,
you just need an R in the.
Yeah, really, he's a billionaire. So, purchased the ranch from Bigelow, installing his own science team to probe the ranch's mysteries. This eventually led to a highly popular docuseries, which is now in its 3rd season. Have you ever watched that?
No, I don't even know what it's on.
I don't either.
Tell us what it's on. Is it on Discovery Plus, Netflix, Hulu? What?
I'm sure we could look it up. So, what was happening in those lost years between the departure of most of Bigelow's team and the arrival of Fugel and Company? Reportedly, the number of people on the ranch plummeted, with a skeleton crew of security personnel keeping intruders away from the property and a few workers assisting the ranch managers with normal chores and caring for some of the livestock that still occupied parts of the 212-acre territory.
Loves it.
But what of the previous phenomena? Did all of the UFOs, werewolves, shadow creatures, and portal dwellers get bored without a team of scientists to torment and simply move on? Did they go to sleep awaiting new intruders on their turf? Mr. Shaw, that's the author, had the opportunity to interview 2 people who had worked on the ranch during various portions of that period. Initially under contract with Bass and later Bigelow Aerospace, Phil, who's not his real name, primarily worked security, while Maria, not her real name, dealt more with ranch chores and livestock. Phil confirmed that the science teams from NIDSI were almost entirely gone, at least during the periods where he was stationed on the ranch. There were nights when he was the only person on the property, and he only recalls ever seeing Robert Bigelow on the property once. Maria never saw the owner to her recollection, and she generally never went on the property at night unless there was an emergency situation. Well, wasn't night when most of the bad stuff happened?
Yeah, pretty much, I believe.
Well, I would stay someplace else too.
You know, there's so much footage about, like, Skinwalker Ranch and, like, around that area anyway. Like, human voices.
Right.
Like, human voices. Like, you would easily mistake that for an actual person. Right. That's pretty fucking creepy, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, I think so. But that doesn't mean all the testing had ended. There were nights when Phil said he and other security personnel were told to sit in one of the abandoned homestead buildings well past midnight and attempt to engage in remote viewing involving various sealed envelopes, presumably with pictures or coordinates inside.
Now, what do you mean, like, remote viewing?
It's sort of like ESP type thing. Now, the remote viewing program was primarily in the 70s, I think, and it was a form of ESP.
And what is that?
Extrasensory perception.
Okay.
And where they would be able to spiritually travel and see things in another part of the country or something.
So sort of like astral travel.
Sort of, yes. Okay. Only that they were awake during it. You know, they weren't in that
sleep era.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what that was. And he reported his impressions to the superiors as requested, but was never informed of the results of these tests. Maria never engaged in that sort of direct testing, but did file reports of any strange or anomalous sightings she observed. But now, as far as the remote viewing, that was a thing for a while, and I can't remember what the guy's name. I never can remember what his name is involved in that. But basically, they would get images. They would tell them to focus on a particular area. Usually it was military related, and draw the images that came into their mind. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I don't...
What if they have no artistic capabilities?
It didn't matter. I mean, it wasn't like they expected them to be Rembrandt or anything like that.
Mark Ryden. They certainly are no Mark Ryden.
It was just a matter of them drawing approximately what they had seen and where.
Do you remember that one time that they had, like, it was apparently like a professional crime scene sketch artist or whatever, and like it was the most shitty little face. It was like an egg with 2 dots and just a line for a mouth and like slight lines for a mustache or an eyebrows, and I'm like, and this horrible little hat.
But the thing is,
what the fuck?
The guy honestly looked like that because I saw that in the mugshot.
Like, oh
honest to God, it was accurate. So that was kind of tragic that he looked like that.
Yeah.
As for inexplicable phenomena, that traffic similarly declined from the reported levels rumored to have been observed during the full NIDSA investigations, which would later resume when Fugel arrived and began installing complex monitoring systems. Phil described uneasy feelings and seeing some things that were not easily explained, but he also said that he, quote, only had a few of what could be considered ghostly encounters because I did and I documented it.
What?
I had to go back. It said he only saw shit a few times, but when he did, he documented it.
Yeah. It's so like me trying to document Bigfoot calling it in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and then oh God. He further stated that his wife also had very traumatic experiences with the hitchhiker effect. I'll explain that in just a minute. And yeah, that was the end of the quote. Now, the hitchhiker effect, these are the people who visited or stayed at the ranch that experienced phenomena and ill effects after they returned home.
Loves it.
So I don't know if it was like some kind of an attachment, spirit attachment, or what. When Jazz had asked about the cattle mutilations, Phil said that he neither saw nor heard from others about any such incidents during his time there. 2 cattle that he knew of had died, but one had obviously fallen off a cliff or on the ridge, and the other had died in a field and had been the subject of predation by coyotes and other animals.
They should have got goats instead. They defy gravity.
Yeah, well, yeah. Neither seemed in any way unusual. Now, Maria described similar senses of dread at times and saw troubling shadows near the edges of the tree line or along cliffs where they shouldn't have been. She described what she believed was a case of not seeming of whatever it was, not seeming to be that interested in you if you weren't engaging with it. But if you started poking, it would start poking back. That's true of a lot of spirits and some paranormal stuff.
Yeah, that's why, like, you don't taunt them or anything.
No.
You have to be incredibly respectful, because, like, they are still people, even in spirit.
Well, some of them were not people spirits.
Well,
some of them
I'm
other
talking
things.
about like the human spirits or whatever. You still have to be incredibly respectful to them.
It says that this is similar to the descriptions given in the recent book by James Lakatsky, Colm Kelleher, and George Knapp. Whatever this phenomenon or intelligence may or may not be, those on the ground get the definite impression that it knows when intruders are interested and has the ability to stay one step ahead of them. Could that lack of poking also explain the piles in cattle mutilations, which seemed to resume after Fugel's team arrived? There were other unsettling experiences involved with working at the ranch during this period, however, and not all of them would directly involve paranormal activity. Multiple accounts now strongly suggest that the NIDSA team encountered instances where potentially threatening levels of radiation of some sort were detected on the ranch during the early days. Well, a lot of that could have been UFO activity. That's pretty common with that.
Yeah. I mean, also like radiation therapy.
Huh?
Radiation therapy.
Like, you know.
Chemotherapy.
Yeah, but that's not usually just out in the air.
No, but like, it's the same amount of radiation, basically.
I don't, it doesn't actually say as far as what level that it was. I don't remember any of that. Anyone watching the current seasons of the docu-series covering the work of Brandon Fugel's team will know that they have reported the same. But during the periods when our witnesses were on the ranch, no mention was ever made to either of them of any possible radiation hazard.
Oh my God.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And it says, and that they were never provided any sort of radiation monitoring equipment.
Bruh, why not? Why not?
I guess if they were doing the remote viewing, they thought that maybe they should have picked up on that. Phil mentioned that some of the security personnel he has remained in touch with have suspected that the real testing during this period may have been done on them and not the phenomenon. Also, the security personnel had collected a number of artifacts and reports of experiences involving the indigenous American history in the region and how it might have related to reported sightings of the Skinwalkers as the local tribes knew them. And it says the Nidsai people were reportedly almost entirely uninterested in any such reports during the time Phil was on the site. So that sounds to me like Phil pretty much, it's like they was experimenting on him or Maria.
Yeah.
So what is really causing all the disturbances that have been reported at Skinwalker Ranch? As yet, nobody seems to have a definitive answer. But even those who were there during the lost years seem to feel that there's certainly something strange going on. Some of it may be directly related to the care or lack of care of the human interlopers on the range. The rest will clearly remain the subject of further study. And in other reports and studies of paranormal and supernatural phenomena, there are some people that seem to attract it more than others.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wish that they had gone a little more into the hitchhiking effect and what some of the other people that had worked there, what their experiences were after they left. Were they seeing apparitions or, some kind of supernatural phenomenon like that? Did they have UFO sightings? Continuing with that, there seems to, Skinwalker Ranch seems to have a little bit of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit.
But I thought it was very peculiar, and they thought it was peculiar, that the new group that came in was not interested in the Native American take on it.
See, that's like if we were...
That's a huge red flag for me.
Yeah. See, if we were there, we would be all up in that.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of part of our heritage. So it's like, we're not part of that tribe in specific, but like, we do have the Native American roots. And so it's like automatically being like, let's dig into this a little bit.
Well, it's a matter of their legends and stuff with that particular area could have been very valuable to try to figure out the current phenomenon.
Right, because Native Americans, they still very much believe in that stuff. Like,
sure.
And they are very... like, ooh, don't fuck with that.
Well, the Skinwalkers wasn't one of the characteristics of that being able to, they were basically a shapeshifter, were they not?
Yeah.
And that they did have different abilities, so,
Who knows? It's weird.
Yeah.
And creepy.
And could that have been related to UFO sightings and stuff? Well, of course it can. It's just like we had reported a couple of days ago about the chupacabra, and there could be a link as far as UFOs and those. For a long time, there are people that have wondered if there wasn't a link between UFOs and Bigfoot.
Right.
And God bless them, those folks who study Sasquatch, they get shit on lots.
They do, for no reason.
And it's like...
it's a giant monkey. I want to see the giant monkey.
Well, we don't know exactly
Potentially a giant
what
monkey.
it is, but that these guys are valid investigators, just like, these cryptozoologists, it's always hard for them.
Well, that was like, there was kind of I never really noticed that growing up, but like Invader Zim, there was a slight dig towards people who was like, studied Bigfoot or whatever.
There was a slight dig towards
everything.
Yes, everything.
So it's just kind of like,
Vasquez, he was just, God, I loved him. It was great. But they also had the digs towards the UFO community and
paranormal investigators. And
the whole thing of it.
Yeah.
It was all tongue in cheek. It was great. It's my favorite animations, if you want to call them. You can't call them cartoons anymore.
Yeah, you can.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
American animations, like if they're 2D, that is cartoons.
Okay.
It's mainly anime from like Japan and such like that.
Okay. But anyhow, the Sasquatch researchers, they have a hell of a time. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if part of it is not because the sightings are in rural areas. Mm-hmm. I mean, they would have to be because it's woods, forest.
That's like the Bigfoot here.
And as far as, is it a dig at the researchers or the fact that the sightings are reported by people in rural areas?
I think it's that. I think it's mainly like the people in rural areas, and people have that stigma.
Right.
And it's like, the fuck, man? To put that aside.
Right. Well, it's like we were talking about the oceans, that there's a vast amount that is unexplored.
Right.
And the same can be said of some of these wilderness areas, mountain areas. Mm-hmm. Like up there in Washington State and things like that. Just huge amounts of land. Nobody knows what the hell's up in there.
No.
And people a lot of times are not quiet when they go through the mountains and stuff.
Especially in like small towns.
Most animals have got very acute hearing.
Yeah.
And they can smell. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's...
So if you stink, you know they stink.
It's not...
They know you stink.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that these creatures understand when somebody is invading their territory.
Yeah, because you're going, like, just like with the houses, if they come into your house, if they come into our houses, they get smacked. Most of the time. Sometimes. The bat didn't get smacked, but I was ready to smack it. But, like, when you go into the woods, that's their house. You're entering their house.
Yes, but I'm saying that animals are very sensitive when humans are around for the most part, and they will hide.
Yeah.
There are things that...
Except for the ones that don't, like, for example, like mountain lions or stuff like that. But they'll stalk.
Yeah, they'll stalk, but even most of them stay away from humans. They really do. And, you know, with all these equipment and stuff, there's people that have wondered if you want to call them ghosts or whatever type of spirits and stuff like that, if the frequency from the electronics does not somehow, you know, prevent them, or, you know, they stay away from that.
No, it very much does, because they can detect that as
well.
They can sense that. So...
And as far as somebody having a personal experience and then somebody going and investigating it and go, oh, well, we didn't find anything. Well, no, you may not have. You come in with all this electronic stuff, and then when somebody's battery drains, they get all excited and things, but I don't know. Some of these people that are doing some of the research on this stuff, but do I think that they very well could have been experimenting on Phil and Maria? Probably. Mm-hmm. Just because somebody else bought it did not mean that they were doing the same type of research that Mr. Bigelow was.
Right. Ooh.
Skinwalker, The Lost Years.
Ooh.
If you've had experiences with paranormal, supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, Skinwalker Ranch, if you would like to chime in on that. If you have local, regional, or family myths or legends, email us cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, and the email address is there in the description box. Know that you're loved. Know that you're appreciated.
Mm-hmm. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Thank you all. Have a good... Look to the skies, look to the ground. Don't get caught by the Skinwalker. If you see it, no you don't. No you don't. You turn around slowly and you walk away slowly. Don't let it know. Seriously, that was one of the things, like, people saw, like, Skinwalkers or whatever, and, like, that is one of the ways to, like, not have it chase after you. I mean, it will still walk up to you, but, like, you walk as close to your house as possible, as calmly as possible, and then once you get, like, right at the tree line, like right out of the tree line, you bolt to the house as quick as possible.
There was a wonderful line in The Last Unicorn, and said, never run from anything supernatural. It attracts their attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So cool stuff. Mm-hmm. We'll see you on the next cup.
Yes, bye.
Bye.